Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Welcome to the Fintech Fest webinar organized by Embassy of Brazil in Warsaw and Startup Poland Foundation. I would like to remind you that you can change the language on the platform. Just choose the globe icon at the top of your screen and you can choose the language which you can want. There is a Polish, English, Portuguese, Spain, Italian, German, Russian, and others. So you can switch the language which you prefer. Also, I would like to ask you to use our chat. Please say hello to other attendees, share your thoughts, opinions, and also please ask our speakers because we will have Q&A sessions. Our first speaker is Mr. Francisco Nelson Linhares Jr., Second Secretary at the Embassy of Brazil. So, hello.
Hello, everyone.
The stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Bom dia aí no Brasil. Dzień dobry tutaj w Polsce. I am Nelson Linhares from the Brazilian Embassy in Warsaw, where I am in charge, among other things, of trade promotion. Thank you very much for gathering with us today on this first Brazil-Poland webinar on FinTech. And my special thank you to all of our speakers, who I am sure will provide us with invaluable presentations today. At the Embassy of Brazil, we truly believe that there is a great potential for Brazilian and Polish FinTech startups and FinTech-related entities to cooperate and do business. As you all might know, Poland is a thriving economy in the European Union, and Poland counts on a strong and innovative banking and financial system, as well as on a pool of talented IT workforce. Poland, as a Central European country, is very well connected to its Western, Central, and Eastern peers. In this part of Europe, Poland displays, without the shadow of a doubt, the strongest and fastest growing FinTech market. Bit of advice, don't waste any more time and come explore it. Regarding the Brazilian FinTech market, the largest in Latin America, the possibilities are countless. Its over 200 million people market welcomes innovative and entrepreneurial new ideas. I would also like to point that the very unfortunate COVID pandemic has pushed a great number of Brazilian companies and customers to online shopping and online financial transactions for the first time ever. So for Polish enterprises interested in Brazil, the time is now. Thank you very much. Now I would like to give the floor to our Deputy Head of Mission at the Brazilian Embassy, Mr. Ademar Seabra.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And now I would like to invite to our stage, virtual stage, Mr. Ademar Seabra da Cruz Jr., Minister Consular at the Embassy of Brazil. Mr. Minister, are you with us? Hello?
Oh yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, very well. Hello.
Okay, great. All right. Okay. Okay. I don't know if you got my first initial sentence, but just thanking Startup Poland and Nelson and Magda from the trade sector of the Brazilian Embassy, who together put this event. So it's very timely and very, it's at a critical moment for the development of economic relations between two countries. Just four brief ideas. The first one, that Brazil I think that Brazilians are well aware of the competitiveness and the strength, both technological and technical strength of Brazilian banking system as a whole. We had severe inflation problems last century, so this made our banking system to become very competitive and very adaptable to the difficulties we faced then. When we had the world economic crisis of 2008, the Brazilian banking system showed resilience and showed strength because of this experience. And also to mention that in Brazil we have several programs for fostering and developing startup programs and innovation, which are led by institutions by the National Development Bank, the National Innovation Agency, several other state and federal agencies for research, and our export agency as well. We think that these events, that today's event, which is, I took a look at the program, which is very impressive. I thank everybody again involved for the quality and the impressive representation of the both Brazilian and Polish entities involved. But this seminar is about how to finance innovation, how to finance startups, and how to seek investment for the development of certain initiatives. So we think that we must keep this exercise and this very important and thrilling dialogue onwards in terms of looking to what to finance, not only how to finance. And both Poland and Brazil have amazing opportunities in fields like ICT, telecommunications, now the 5G challenge which poses to our countries, artificial intelligence, biotech, medical devices, Industry 4.0. So there are many possibilities in both our countries. We have, as Nelson rightly pointed out, Brazil has a tremendous amalgam of possibilities for Poland to know better what we do. And I think that we also must to keep on talking with Poland in terms of knowing better its institutions and its investment capabilities from side to side. So this is an invitation that this amazing exercise has its unfolding, and that it can hopefully be converted into a kind of a work program between our countries. Thank you again for your attention, and have an excellent event, and count on the full support of the Brazilian Embassy and Brazilian institutions for this exercise.
Thank you very much, Mr. Minister. Our next speaker is the CEO of Startup Polish Foundation, Tomasz Snarzyk. Okay, so hello. The stage is yours. Sorry, but we can't hear you. Could you start once again, please? Maybe this time? No, there's something with the microphone. No, still nothing. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Could you try say something right now? Okay, so please rejoin to our event, and we will make a short break from the screen. Okay. Okay, so because we've got a few small technical problems, as you can see, so I think it's a good time to have a little break from the screen. So close your eyes, take a deep breath, and stretch yourself. Count to 3, and open your eyes once again. Okay, so we've got Tomasz with us once again. I hope this time everything will be fine. Okay, maybe this time it will work. Okay.
Hi.
Hi, this time is perfect.
I'm sorry. I think I had to change the room. I'm quarantined right now, so I sometimes I have connection problems because my kids, they use all the internet that is accessible. So having in mind our topic, it is a great pleasure to greet you all on our mutual event with the Brazilian embassy. I would like to say a few words about the Startup Poland Foundation. We were established 7 years ago, and our main focus is to research the startups and to be the voice of the startups for the policymakers in Poland and for the EU policymakers. Within that 7 years, we managed to put the startups on the first pages of newspapers. So the startups are not only some kind of thing that is going on within the new generation of people that want to establish companies, but it is something that the governments are really taking into account. And a few years ago, we actually did a lot of research in the fintech industry, and every year we put effort into our reports, our annual reports, which you can download. They are free. They are in Polish, and of course they are in English. So if you please, you can download them on our website. Mr. Minister said that we have common few things, few areas that I fully agree. I just wanted to say that we Poles love some of us love coffee, which is the drink that Brazilians also drink, and we have very big and strong Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu community in Poland. That's also one other thing that connects us. So without further ado, Anya, please take mic. Thank you so much, and have a great day.
Thank you very much for your speech. Ladies and gentlemen, that was our welcome speech from our organizers. So right now we are starting the part of Polish presentations. Our next speaker is Mr. Michał Sas, expert at Fintech Poland Foundation. So I would like to ask him to take the microphone and turn on his camera. Mr. Michał, are you with us? Do you have a connection? Oh, there you go. Hello, but your microphone is still muted. You have to. Oh.
Okay. Hello.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Hello. It is very nice to meet you. Can you see the panel on the side as a speaker? There is a presentation section icon with the presentation.
Yes.
There you can see the add or symbol of plus, and there you can see all the presentations. So
unfortunately, I click on it and nothing happens.
Okay, so
maybe no, not screen sharing. Is it possible that I ask you to present or not?
No, right now you are the main role. Okay, so please, I will try to make you once again the speaker. Okay, sorry for our technical problems. It happens all the time when you've got a online event. So believe me, it's not the. Okay, so we have to wait for Mr. Michał. Okay. Okay, do you have any thoughts or opinions? Would you like to ask something to our speakers? Do you have any questions for Embassy or to Startup Poland Foundation? Let us know on the chat because we are watching this. Okay, once again, we will try to rejoin. Okay. Mr. Michał, are you with us? Okay,
yes,
maybe this time. Presentation plus.
Nothing happens.
Okay, could you start without presentation? Is it possible?
Yes, I have one.
And I will try to fix it in the middle.
Or
okay.
I can share the screen with you, I think.
Oh, yes, of course, if you can.
Yes, I can share the screen.
Okay.
I will just close Facebook. Okay, so can you see my my desktop?
Yes. Okay, so I will. Yes, I close my camera. The stage is yours.
Okay, so welcome everybody. My name is Michał Sas. I am an expert at the Fintech Poland Foundation, and in these 10 minutes, I will try to summarize the most important information about Polish financial ecosystem. So first of all, few general information about Poland. Poland is in Europe, as you know. There are 38.4 million inhabitants of Poland. 35% of the population has higher education, and Poland is the 5th largest internet market in EU. When we speak about Poland, about Warsaw as a financial center, Warsaw is the second most important financial center in CEE and Western Asia. There's an index called GFCI, Global Financial Center Index, which compares financial centers all around the world. It mostly measures their competitiveness and innovativeness. And Poland is second after Moscow, and before any other European, Western CE and Western Asian countries. Why one from Brazil may think, I want to make business, make financial business in Europe, and I want to make it from Poland? Because in EU, we have one common financial market. And in this financial market, once you get a license or a permit from Polish Financial Supervision Authority, you can operate in the entire EU. It's called passporting. This license is treated as a passport, and this rule applies to banks, to payment service providers, to investment companies and insurance companies. This is very important because, in fact, you may choose Poland for start, and then expand to the entire Europe. Why you should also think about starting your financial business in Poland? Because there is a lot of well-educated employees who are suitable for your financial business. When we say about business service sector, we say about BPO, business process outsourcing, about shared services center, about information technology, and research and development centers. So we have 1.5 thousand business service centers in Poland. They give work to more than 300,000 employees, while the entire CE hires 750,000. And almost 50,000 of them are working solely in financial outsourcing. So this is a large group of people well educated for financial services who can be hired by you. And this business services sector generates 3.5% of Polish GDP. As you may see on this map, financial institutions, not only from other European countries, but financial institutions from all around the world have their BPOs, SECs, R&D centers in Poland. And one of good examples is Standard Chartered Bank, who started with a small bureau and now has more than 600 experienced specialists in Warsaw. When we speak about financial sector, we have of course to introduce the main players. So there are banks. Banks in Poland, their total assets are increasing every year. However, Polish banking sector is called to be still kind of open. There are a lot of mergers and acquisitions, and in this sector, there are new banks that are coming that acquired their own licenses and started providing banking services. So it is not an entirely closed system. Our payment sector, so non-banking sector that provide payment services, is also still growing. We have a lot of payment institutions who can be also passported to other countries. Our payments sector leader, our national champion is Blik. Blik is a payment scheme that allows to transfer money from one bank to another, and from e-commerce to customers, etc. And in third quarter of 2019, it has generated 56 million of transactions only in one quarter. Of course, another players are lending institutions. There are more than 500 lending institutions in Poland. They focus mostly on young people or underbanked people who don't want to acquire standard bank loans, but instead they want to have faster, simpler, and more available loans. We have insurance sector and gross written premium, which is the best parameter to describe the sector. In 2018, it was 21 billion zloty. Section 1, life insurances. And in Section 2, accident insurances, transport insurances, liability insurances, it was more than 40 billion zloty. But our financial ecosystem consists also of other type of entities. We have crowdfunding entities, we have a lot of blockchain cryptocurrencies entities, insurtech, payments, personal wealth management, and AI. Another reason why you should think about Poland as a place to start your financial business in Europe is that Poland is a perfect place for innovation testing. A lot of huge international players have started testing their innovative products in Poland. BNP Paribas, Google with Android Pay, second country in Europe. Poland was the second country in Europe to test Android Pay, and SoftPOS with MasterCard. Why did those entities choose Poland as a place for innovation testing? Poland has a very nice combination of characteristics that support such innovation testing. Our society is very well digitalized. We are not too big, not too small country, so you don't have to invest a lot of money to test your financial products in Poland. But still, we have such a big population, such young population, that you will have a lot of people who will be able and who will be willing to test your innovations. We cannot speak about financial sector without speaking about authorities. And most important authority in Poland that supervises almost all of the financial institutions is KNF, Komisja Nadzoru Finansowego. It is an institution that held for a long time a renown of a very conservative supervision, but it's not bad because, for example, they protected us from 2007-2008 financial crisis due to their conservative, due to their strict approach. But on the other hand, KNF is aware of the fact that you have to support innovation to be able to compete with other countries. And since 2016, KNF has introduced a lot of support for financial innovation. There are working groups in which KNF speaks with the market participants about their needs and about their problem. There is Innovation Hub, when you can go directly to KNF and present yourself and ask about their interpretation of your activity and the requirements you need to fulfill. You can apply for individual interpretation when you describe your model business and ask for the implications. And there is also a regulatory sandbox in which you can enter with your limited activity to be supervised and to be checked by KNF. All of those informations were prepared on basis of a report that we have issued last year. It's called How to Do Fintech in Poland report. It was prepared by Fintech Poland with KNF, with Polish Investment and Trade Agency, with Bird & Bird, MasterCard, and PKO Bank Polski Bank. And this report can be downloaded at this webpage. You can see on the screen. It would be great if you could download this report. I think it has most of the crucial information that are needed to know if you want to enter our financial market. Thank you very much for inviting me. I hope my presentation was interesting for you. And should you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask.
Thank you very much. And right now, I'm inviting on our stage Magda Jagiełło from Startup Poland Foundation, who will be conducting our short Q&A session. Magda, I hope you can connect with us. Oh, hello.
Yes. Hi,
nice.
Hi.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, very well. Okay.
Hello, Michał. Thank you for the amazing presentations and amazing numbers. Basically, I didn't even know that we have, such a huge market. Well, I had a lot of questions, but you fully covered it with your presentation. But there is one thing that comes to my mind. Because you mentioned the sandbox, and I heard that it is possible to participate for the foreign companies. Is it true? Could you please tell us a little bit more about this sandbox?
I'm not sure if there are any restrictions regarding the nationality of the entity that is willing to enter our sandbox. However, we have a lot of fintech accelerators in Poland. So if there is a financial startup from Brazil, even though if it doesn't want to enter Poland through a Polish company, it can contact one of those accelerators and ask them for help to enter such regulatory sandbox. And of course, regulatory sandbox is one of the favorite child of KNF, and I am sure they will be very, very happy to provide any necessary help.
Thank you. And could you please describe briefly how it works? Like why you set up this sandbox? What was the basic need?
It wasn't us. It was KNF who set up the sandbox. But sandboxes are standard for an innovation financial supervisory authorities. there's a general people say that it's very hard to regulate the innovative technologies because they change more rapidly than the law can change. For example, good example would be okay. I will skip this example because it would take too much time. But there are situations where we are not sure how our activity will be treated by the authority, and there are situations when the authority may be aware of us because we just seem a little stranger to them. And Sandbox is a place where you can come with your business, show how your business works, show that you are not a scammer. You want really to participate in the financial sector to the benefit of all of these participants, and also gather necessary feedback from the regulator and from the partner of the Sandbox.
Great, thank you very much, Michał. I can see that there are no more questions, but I believe that we will get a couple more emails. So if you won't mind, I will connect later people who would like to get to know more. So Anya, the mic is yours again.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Magda. And thank you, Mr. Michał, for this presentation. Okay, so right now I would like to invite to our stage Ms. Monika Grzelak, Manager in Center of Strategic Investments at Polish Investment and Trade Agency. Ms. Monika is with us, so I believe we will have an opportunity. Hello, it is very nice to meet you.
Hello, it's nice to see you and nice to hear you. I hope you can hear me well.
Yes,
and
can hear you very well.
I will try to share my presentation.
Okay.
If I'm able to do that.
I hope.
Okay. I think I'm not.
Okay, can you share your screen with us?
Yes.
Okay, that would be easier maybe.
Okay. Maybe.
Okay.
Can you see my screen or not?
No, right now we can still see our main screen. Okay. Okay. Yes, we can see your screen. Okay, so the stage is yours.
Okay, everything is visible, yeah, on the screen, because I cannot see you now, so I hope it works. Okay, so my name is Monika Grzelak, and I work at the Polish Investment and Trade Agency. I would like to talk about what our agency does and why it's worth investing in Poland and how to do it with cooperation with PAIH. So our agency is a government-owned agency. The aim is to support foreign direct investments to Poland. We work with companies from all over the world, supporting them through the whole investment process, right from the beginning when they're looking for information, for example, about human resources, some legal or tax information about Poland, when they're looking for the costs in Poland. Then as a next step, we organize site visits, which means when you want to come to Poland and talk to relevant stakeholders or those days if you want us to organize online meetings with, for example, local authorities, local promotion agencies, or companies that have already established their presence in Poland and you like to hear their experience. We can help with that as well. And once you decide to invest in Poland, we can help with the promotion of this investment. So we generally release some information to the press, which is a big support in terms of spreading the knowledge about new investment in Poland. And it does a great job, especially if the brand is not very well known. As I said, we work with companies from all over the world. As you can see, our top investors is currently Belarus. It's due to the political events there, companies that are moving to Poland. But traditionally, a lot of investments coming from the US and in the business services sector. So far, we've had just one completed project from Brazil, completed with PI support. But hopefully there is more on the way, since we are currently working with three potential investors. We've seen that increase in interest of Brazilian investors in Poland in the recent months. Interestingly, these are mostly IT companies and gaming companies. So hopefully we will be able to have some more of the Brazilian investments in Poland very soon. Maybe a little bit of introduction about Poland. However, something was already said by the previous speakers. But why is our country attractive to foreign investors? So first of all, we are centrally located in Europe, and this central location is one of our main advantages, not only in terms of the logistics, but for example, also in terms of different time zones that we are able to operate from Poland, which is especially important for the business service sector, for the IT sector, for example. Our country, well, especially the capital, which is Warsaw, is very well connected with all other European capitals, and has also intercontinental flights. Before pandemic, there were 6 cities in the US where there was a direct connection. Currently, it's I think 2, but hopefully it will be restored very soon. For connections to fly to Brazil, you need to make a connecting flight through the States or through some other European cities. We are the largest country in the Central and Eastern Europe. We are double the size of Romania, which is the second country in Central and Eastern Europe. We have about 38 million inhabitants, and Warsaw is the largest city. We are also a member of the European Union. However, we have our own currency, which has worked for us pretty well in the recent years and during the recent crisis. Speaking about different economic situations, it's worth to mention that Poland is a very stable economically. Our economy is relatively young. It's been since the transformation. It has passed just about 30 years, but we haven't had a single recession. Well, before the pandemic, of course, we haven't had a single recession since 1991. And even now, the forecasts and the actual GDP declines were lower in Poland comparing to some other EU countries. And the forecasts of the European Commission are looking pretty good for us for the future as well. So why do foreign investors choose Poland? As I mentioned, the labor force, so the largest the largest country in Central and Eastern Europe, but also pretty well educated, and speaking and good knowledge of foreign languages. I'd say that in business, most of the people speak English fluently. There is also multiple locations to choose from, so which means that it's not just Warsaw where you can establish your business, but there are 15 other cities where foreign companies are present and are very successful. It can be Krakow and Wrocław, which could be which are probably the most well known. However, there are other cities smaller as well. So depending on what you're looking for and what is essential for you, whether some cost effectiveness or maybe some direct connections, you can find what you're looking for in Poland. We are the largest academic hub in the Central and Eastern Europe, and what's interesting that Warsaw is also the second largest academic hub as a city after Paris in Europe. It's one of the most popular IT outsourcing destination. We have a lot of IT companies that have established their services here. The example of a Brazilian company that I was talking about, that was our project, was the Stefanini company, also doing IT, that chose Krakow for their business. And one very important factor why to choose Poland is the availability of incentives. It's the incentive levels are the highest in the European Union, and everything related to innovation and R&D is especially interesting since there are more incentives available for that kind of activities. And those can be cash grants, can be the CIT exemptions, or even some loans or equity contributions, so depending on the project. So if you're looking for some information about Poland, if you're considering Poland as a place to grow your business, then please do contact us. Our services are completely free of charge, and we will be able to help you with setting up your business here in Poland.
Thank you very much. And now I would like to ask you once again, Magda Jagiełło from Startup Poland, to conduct our Q&A session. I hope Magda will join us. Thank you for this presentation. It was very, very good.
Thank you.
Okay, Magda, are you with us? Okay. We've got a little problem with internet. Okay, so we've got.
Yes, I'm here. Hi.
Okay.
Hello again. Hi, Monika. Thank you very much for, I would not even say a piece of information, but a huge amount of information about the PAIH and about the Polish market. If anyone would like to ask a question, I would like to mention again that you can write it down on the chat. But basically, I would like to ask you at first, how does look like the cooperation with PAIH, like from the very practical point of view? When, for example, I'm the Brazilian company and I would like to enter the Polish market, so what should I do?
Okay, so first of all, you should write to us. So you can write to me. You have my contact details. or on our website, paih.gov.pl. You will find an contact form, and choosing investment in Poland, we will receive your inquiry. And we would probably set up a call to talk to you. What kind of information are you looking for? Are you interested to find out how many people with specific skills are there in different cities? And for example, what is the cost difference between Warsaw, Krakow, and the Tri-City, for example? Then maybe you would be interested to know what are the connections, because you want to be close to an international airport. That's one of your requirements for the business. So it's really tailor-made. Depending what you need, then we will try to help you to find out this information. The next step would be probably once you have analyzed all the information and chosen, okay, Warsaw, Krakow is interesting for me, and you would like to explore more those cities, then we can organize some online meetings that you can talk to some local support agency. You can talk, for example, to recruitment companies. They could provide you with some more details about the local market. And what we see that is especially very valuable for the investors is the possibility to talk to someone who has already done this job, who's already been through this journey and has established a company in Poland and is able to tell you what are the lessons learned and so on.
Perfect. And the other question is, when it comes to grants, do you know if it is possible to participate in Polish grant programs if you don't have a company in Poland?
Well, that depends. There are different funding schemes. We are operator of Polish government grants. These are grants offered to manufacturing and to business services. So it's you need to apply to us, and we do not require the entity to be already established to apply. However, if you're, for example, looking for some R&D grants, they're available for companies that are already established, as they are more related to operational costs. The grant that we have is related to investment costs, so initially we don't require the company is already registered.
It's perfectly clear, Monika. So as far as I can see, there are no more questions. So thank you very much again. And I won't also mind to share your email address with anyone who would be interested to talk to you.
It will be a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the presentation. And thank you, Magda, for being with us as my support. Okay, so right now, I would like to ask to join to our virtual stage Mr. Jacek Figuła, Chief Commercial Officer in Bilon Group. Okay, hold on. Okay. Magda, thanks once again. You can close your microphone and camera. Hello, thank you very much for being with us. It is very nice to meet you.
Good morning, everybody, and good afternoon.
Yes, because in Brazil we've got already. Oh no, we are in the morning in Brazil. Okay, so have you gotten access to your presentation?
If I should be able to. Hang on. No, okay. This is not this one. This is not this one. How do I? Udostępnię. Okay. Just.
If not, you can share your screen as the other speakers did. Okay, so you've got...
Would that work perfectly?
Yes, it works perfectly, so the stage is yours.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the invitation. It's my pleasure to be on these two sides of the ocean. I must say that I visited Brazil long time ago. It was like 25 years ago, and that was my only trip there. So I would love to make it a repeat. This time, after 25 years of my corporate experience in companies like Cisco, Nortel, or similar, I have joined 4 years ago a company, Bilon. I joined Bilon as an investor and then later on as a chief commercial officer. Bilon is a fascinating company because we do new type of internet. Okay. It's a blockchain-based internet. There are some people, there are some people like Gartner or Accenture or others that they say that this is actually the internet of value as compared to a internet of information or internet of content. Some people say today the internet of value is a kind of media between people, of course, the digital and remote media, which allow all of us to store and share value over the internet, something which is valuable to us. Okay, and Gartner specifically is extremely fascinated by this concept of internet of value and by the opportunities that this internet of value brings to people and will bring going forward. You have this famous curve of Gartner on the right-hand side. You can see that blockchain as a technology has already been understood because it is around from 2010. By the way, Bilon has been brought up in Poland in 2012, and formally we started to market our products after this couple of years of R&D work from 2017. But the technology itself is not the key. The key is to actually move and migrate multiple various different sectors from something which is very well known to us, so the traditional internet, traditional IT, which is a centralized administrator-based IT, into a decentralized and administrator-free, so no administrator IT solutions. As you can see here, we see the supply chain being on the very top, logistics, transportation, finance, fintech, insurance, everything is going to be impacted and changed by blockchain technology. Well, not everybody agrees with that. I do agree with that, and this is why 4 years ago I joined Bilon to make this real. Our vision, our promise to you is to bring to the market a end-to-end solution, which actually is a enterprise corporate grade high performance platform that is allowing you to mint national currency, exchange this national currency, exchange documents, exchange data and identity on a single blockchain-based backbone platform. Okay, so that is our mission statement, vision, and this is what we have been working on since some time. Now, we recognize that this is not so easy to convince people that you have this currently working IT system and then, well, let's go ahead and move it onto the decentralized system. So this, in order to allow or facilitate the adoption of multiple different use cases, we have built around our blockchain engine, which is a C++ coded data structure. As a matter of fact, we have added these 3 layers on top of this, which are the kind of product or solution layers, if you will. And we have this account and transactions, which is one of them, which is allowing to process payments in national currencies. National currencies, especially in Europe, have been formally allowed to be processed on blockchain in 2015. So I will talk a little bit later on about this, but we have as Pilon a license to mint Polish zloty digitally. I remember 2017, Brazilian National Bank has been investigating this topic. Then theoretically, well, if there are people from these financial institutions, we are pretty happy to return to you to demonstrate the system live and working here in Poland and in some other countries in Europe. Now, we also have this layer for documents management. We call it Trusted Document Management, TDM. This system allows for immutable storage and sharing and attestation and validation of documents. There are specific attributes to the system that are allowing to share documents among us with this immutability embedded. And the third solution that we are building is the tokenization platform for tokens sharing and data sharing. There are some concepts which are recently more and more popular, which are called data virtualization or data tokenization. It actually allows you to treat data as a value. So if you would like to monetize your data, your database, without basically sharing this with someone, but with specific sharing mechanisms, then you would like to tokenize it and then process this accordingly. So these are the three, let's say, pillars of our offering on top of the engine that we have provided and built earlier in 2012 to 2017. Now, since 2017, we have started to work with multiple customers. Some of the projects that we do are commercially live, and some of them are still in the piloting phase. So just to say about these live projects, there are these projects with FIS. FIS is the American largest vendor for banking systems, who is using our DLT, our blockchain structure, for the next generation banking core platform. So that is a live product on the market. FIS is selling this to their customers, usually banks or some other financial institutions. We also have, as I just briefly said before, a license from the Polish regulator, and we mint digital currency, digital Polish zlotys into the economy, and we serve some customers. We have a handful of customers like Glovo, Hestia, or Philip Morris International. What they do, they process multiple different payment schemes. Either they cash in, or they cash out, or they mass payout, or they do a kind of marketing tools with money embedded. This is a system which is live since late 2018, and now currently we operate it under our own license, which is an unlimited license for the digital money minting. We also have a live project with our partner in Poland, Credit Scoring Bureau, which is a largest credit scoring bureau in this part of Europe, serving 20+ million customers. And this Credit Scoring Bureau is actually allowing banks in Poland to share documents with the users, with the individual customers. It's actually interesting to note, why would you do this on blockchain? Very simple. If I want to have a security over my communication with the bank, I would prefer that this communication is either made on paper, good but costly, or on a system which is bank independent. Because if I have a little bit of doubt about my statement, or if I have a court dispute with the bank, I would like to have this documents stored in somewhere immune from the bank's influence and bank's IT administrator. So that is the concept which has been initially pushed by the Polish Ministry of Digitization back in 2009. 2018, and we picked it up and we've made it work with the Polish Credit Scoring Bureau. They are serving a couple of banks as we speak right now with the public and private documents. We also worked with Polish universities, Polish energy companies in order to allow them to share documents directly with the customers, with the end customers. Last but not least, we are building a passport for the COVID-19 certificates. So there are multiple use cases that we do it in the UK based on the British Innovate UK grant, but one of them is a certification of your immunization status. So these are this is the spectrum of the project. I just missed the first one on the left-hand side because this is a multiple type projects and engagement with a large banking group in Central and Eastern Europe. All of them are being tested internally. Some of them are focusing on the peer-to-peer payments between individual customers. Some of them are for the issuance of the digital euro, like RBI coin. You can type in YouTube the RBI coin, and you will see how the vice president of the bank is talking about this opportunity, which is actually recently picked up by the European Central Bank as a big opportunity for the society Europe-wide. And some of them are to settle and remit the payments between different countries where Raiffeisen Bank International is operating. So just to close off this introduction about us, as I have been given this 10 minutes slot, why would you use this blockchain as a basic basis for the IT system? Well, in the first place, it treats data as the value, which means that I, as an owner, have a full control over data, which is my data, which is spread in internet, but under fully my custody. Okay, if I want to give the access to this data to anybody, yes, this is my choice. I can share the key to the data to anybody, but if I want to stop sharing this data with this person or institutions, I just revoke the validity of the key, and the other party is losing this access to my data. It's completely different approach that you have in this current centrally managed info. You would not need to have GDPR compliance because the GDPR is embedded in the system itself. This is how we have integrated the digital identity management with mechanisms like client-side cryptography in it, where most of the cryptography is being managed on the end user device. Before the data enters into the system, it's being secured from any malicious access. Then the second most important feature is the peer-to-peer. Okay, if I have a document which I want to share, if I have a piece of music that I want to share with anybody, I will send it directly to somebody. I will send it directly without the intermediary, whether this is a portal or a server or anything. I'm able to send it directly. And the other person, if they want to, and she or he wants to pay me for this piece of music, she or he will pay me with a token directly as well. We don't need to go through the server and then through the bank to pay. I mean, this is a peer-to-peer economy. Peer-to-peer economy is something that we are used to since a long, long time, until IT came. Okay, IT came, and then they made it remote but centrally managed, and we introduced these intermediaries, etc., etc. Blockchain is, let's say, returning to our original way of working, way of life, which was the peer-to-peer. I don't want to just spend too much time, but bringing traceability, auditability, bringing this privacy notion that the data is private to me only, and also the security through the decentralization is actually an important feature as well. Okay, so let me close in here showing that we are enjoying a super good and strong team, 80 plus people, majority of them in Poland. There are 5 or 7 in the UK, traveling from place to place. We have 2 Americans on our board. We have Wojtek, who is our CEO, very strong, experienced banker and the media CEO. And we are very happy that we have gained a number of prestigious awards, including the President of the Polish Republic Award, some European awards, and Singapore winner of the Fintech, largest worldwide Fintech festival. Unfortunately, Brazil is not the country that we have visited as of yet as Bilon, but I would love to do this and make no mistake anymore. Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you very much for this presentation. And now I would like to also, oh, Magda is with us. Okay, so here is the time for our Q&A session.
Yes, hi Jacek, it's lovely to see you. Thank you for
Likewise.
Such a inspirational presentation. There is a lot of, to learn about the blockchain still. Yeah, obviously I can see that the first question is it possible to contact you? Maybe I would like to ask you to contact the Startup Poland, and then we will make an intro to Jacek. But basically, I would like to ask you, what were your greatest challenges when it comes to running the fintech startup? Was it like, some kind of a legal issues, regulatory, or some, basic problems that most of CEOs struggles with?
Bilon is quite a specific startup. It has this very kind of big power of innovation, and the biggest challenge here is to find customers which have an open mind that will be willing to push this innovation throughout the organization. Because even if I find a chief innovation officer of, let's say, a customer X, I mean, let's give an example. Ergo Hestia is our customer in 2 different use cases. Okay, and why is Ergo Hestia our customer? Because the CEO is very powerful. The CEO of the company, not an engineering team or the business development team or the innovation team. The CEO himself is basically so powerful. He says that I need to understand this blockchain well, and therefore he is our key sponsor. Okay, very similar with Raiffeisen. Raiffeisen, the CEO of the group, has said in his mission statement, Raiffeisen must be the most preferred banking institution in Central and Eastern Europe in 2025. If I need to do that, I cannot grow as others. I cannot be similar as others. I cannot follow. I cannot do this organic growth. I need to onboard certain technological advantages. One of them is blockchain. It's not the only one, of course, but one of them is blockchain. And when he's created the blockchain hub, there are 5 people in this team that are basically constantly searching what can be done and how bank can be reinvented with this very specific technology. So that my largest challenge is to find such companies that are having such a strong personal leadership that is pushing this type of innovation across the company.
Thank you, Jacek. And the other question is, because we have a lot of entrepreneurs in here watching us right now, so I believe that there's like no simple question, no simple answer for that question. But what would you advise to the founders who are planning to enter the foreign markets? Like, what is the first thing to do? Like, find some strong partnerships, or the organizations to talk to, like, PAI in Poland, or clients?
Magda, this has not been set up, okay? So this question has not come because we've spoken earlier. But my very true answer is, don't be afraid, of course. Be active, search, but make a use of people and organizations that are willing to help. And in my case, I can give you these examples. A Polish Ministry of Foreign Affairs helped me a lot, because they invited me, as a matter of fact, to Tokyo. They have organized me 5 or 6 different meetings with Japanese companies, and I have managed to sign one deal out of this couple of trips and this several meetings. Okay, that was fundamental. I would not even think about Japan in my plans, because I would say it's too distant, too impossible to impose. Same for Singapore. That's actually not Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but PAIH in Singapore. And there's a wonderful lady, Magda Smolak, who is so much helpful. Okay, and she's been babysitting me. Okay, so not only that we have visited Singapore a couple of times and we have been a winner of this festival, but also I have now 2 agreements with a Singaporean go-to-market strategy company and the customer in the logistic area, which we are working with. This is super helpful. Of course, if you are, let's say, self-confident and you have unlimited funding, then go ahead and jump off the plane in Brazil and do everything yourself. You would also be successful. But if you need to make a compromise between a speed of adoption and the cost of this adoption, cost of the expansion, speed of expansion, cost of expansion, then use the maximum of this type of support. And just this PAIH type of services, they are also available in other countries. In Japan, there is this organization on the Japanese side, JETRO, okay, and they are cooperating with our organization. They are interested for us to succeed. Best win-win type of strategy. Maybe because there is no simple answer, but we have been quite successful with accelerators with big companies. Okay, accelerators are made for small companies like us to enter a large company. Example is FIS in the United States. If we were to knock the doors of FIS, we would definitely do it much longer than if we apply to a properly organized accelerator program. And then through this accelerator program, we have been pushed to the vice president of FIS with the idea, and he pushed this forward to his organization, and we became the vendor of FIS, and now they became our investor actually a couple of months ago. So this is a win-win, the accelerator also, and watching out these accelerators is probably a good idea.
Wonderful. So the power of networking and having a lot of money is the key to, like a small key to success. So we believe that our today's event will be also a nice opportunity to connect with other founders and organizations. So I am giving back the microphone to Anya. Thank you very much, Jacek, again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for being with us today. Thank you, Magda, for supporting me with Q&A sessions. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we just finished the Polish part of our webinar. It's a good moment to have a glass of water and drink something. Of course, if you want to have a short break, you can stand up and stretch yourself. But first of all, I would like to remind you that if you would like to get in touch directly with the speakers, with our speakers, let us know. Just write to Startup Poland and Embassy of Brazil in Warsaw. Just after the webinar, we would love to help you to make new connections between Polish and Brazilian founders. Okay, so I think I believe it's a good moment to invite to our scene Mr. Victor Gabriocci, host at Distrito Fintech. I believe he is with us. Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Oh, hello. This is very nice to see you.
Oh, nice to see you.
Okay, how's the weather in Brazil?
Well, the weather here in Brazil, it's kind of sunny.
Oh.
It's hot here. Thank God. How is there?
Well, in Poland, there's also very sunny days, so I believe we've got a small part in Brazil right now, in Warsaw, and in the rest part of the Poland. Okay, so if you want, you can share your screen because we've got the problem with your presentation. So if you want...
Yeah, I won't show you guys in the presentation, so
Okay.
it's just myself.
Okay, so share your
I hope it's
screen.
enough.
Okay, share your screen if you can.
No, I don't have a presentation.
Okay,
I
so...
only will speak with you.
Okay, so the stage is yours.
Thank you. So, hi guys, nice to meet you. My name is Victor Gabriotti. I work at Distrito here in Brazil. I will talk a bit about Distrito, and then I will talk about Latin America and the fintech scenario here at Brazil. Distrito is a platform with the purpose of helping companies, people, and society to transform innovation and technology. We promote open innovation as a culture and competitive solutions because it brings concrete and exponential results. We connect the main innovation players with corporates to accelerate the transformation process. It's more pardon for my English. I'm really nervous right now. Once again, we connect the main innovation players with corporations to accelerate the transformation process in a more collaborative and diverse way. So I will explain that the company is divided in 4 squads. The first one is the corporate membership. This is the part of Distrito that we work directly with big companies, normally with multinationals. We map the customer's market opportunity, and then we map the startups that can solve the pains that these really big companies have. So we make this connection, and then these corporations can participate of our meetups, our lives, our pitch days, our laboratories, and they can solve their pains through the startups of the Brazilian ecosystem. We make this connection. The second one is the data and content. This is the part of Distrito that we make a real big search about the whole ecosystem. So we create insights and that we call also reports about specific teams, and we can sell these for the big corporations. And this can help them to make a really big audience and search exactly the startups that solve their pain. And this can also generate leads and monetizing the valuable content that we produce here. The third one is the venture capital. This is the part where we invest in entrepreneurs. We work with the type of seed investment, allocate capital between 500,000 to 3 million of reais in the startups analyzed and chosen by Distrito. Today, we have 22 startups invested in our portfolio, and we already have 4 exits. And one really big case here is the Neobank. Neobank is a digital hub, is a digital bank that today it's one of the biggest in the country, and they were invested by Distrito. The fourth one, and it's the one that I really like, and not only because it's the one that I'm part of, but it's the one that I believe that it really impacts the society. It's the Distrito for Startups program. This is the one that creates the ecosystem that we are really know for be the biggest one in the country to promote education, generate business opportunity, and facilitate connections. We help with product development, sales, marketing, co-marketing, position and expansions, and we connect all the startups. Here we are divided in fintechs, health techs, agitechs, legal techs, retail techs, a lot of techs, but in the end of the day, this ecosystem is really helpful to everyone. I'm the one who are responsible, one of the ones who are responsible for the Distrito Fintech. Today we have 130 fintechs here at our hub, and we are as in a physical way in our building and in a digital way as well. During the pandemic, we created this virtual way to access our program. So talking about now Latin America, we are home for 600 million people. Internet usage and mobile adoption are growing at an incredibly fast rate, presenting big opportunities for tech penetration across all over the Latin America. And in 2020, the last month of the year, at December, it was a really big moment to the Brazilian fintechs in terms of investment. The amount received by these companies in the last month of the year totaling in 580 millions of dollars, divided into 9 investment rounds. We help with product development sales. So this is the part that I want to be really clear, that the part that I told about Distrito and content, it's the one that we make all these maps. When it comes to fintech stage, the seed was the one that grew the most. The business that received this level of funding raised 18.6 million, a much larger number than 23 millions that we received in 29. Now I see every day, talking about my intern vision, every day we receive a lot of startups here. And I talk every day with a lot of entrepreneurs. Mostly they are only with the idea, but as the market grows, we see 2 specific teams that are really hot here in the country. The first one is the open banking, and the second one is the PIX. And what I want to give you an advice is to you guys to pay attention in our legislation, because we are in the moment of our country that we are open this market to them, and we are linking to our laws. So every time it comes a new opportunity from the government and from the private sector. So that's it. Do you guys have a question?
Thank you very much. Our Q&A session will be conducted by Ms. Magdalena Stefanowicz from Embassy of Brazil in Warsaw. I would like to invite her to our virtual stage to join us. I hope it will. Hello, it is very nice to see you today.
Nice to see you, thank you. Obrigada, Victor. Thank you for the presentation. I was thinking, for example, when you're a startup, especially a foreign startup, like let's say a Polish company wants to expand to Brazil, is there any possibility that they might use your services, your help as an accelerator, the help of Distrito?
Yes, acceleration, it's not our biggest product, but it's one of them. So you guys can join us and we can help during this process through here. And I think that this can be really useful to Polish startups, because as they want to be part of the Brazilian market, we can help you guys to understand this market.
Mm-hmm. So for example, when there's a company and they want to associate themselves to Distrito, what would be like the steps? The first step, yeah.
You guys, my counsel is you guys to search our social medias, and in our website we have the area of the website that you guys can contact our sales program, and then they will bring contact to you, and we can initiate this transition.
Mm-hmm. Okay, awesome, thank you. I also wanted to ask you a couple of questions about the Brazilian reality that might be related to fintech.
Okay.
I was thinking about the Brazil's relationship with the alternative payment methods. Do you guys use a lot of contactless payment? Is it common? Do you use like wearables, for example, smartwatches to pay for things? Or is that?
yes, we use, here in Brazil, we have different social scenarios. So we have really poor regions that they are not used to, like, still nowadays, they're not used to use digital coins. So they do not have a credit card. They have chains, they have a bill. And that's not a really big scenario in the principal cities of the country. So we have this diversity here, and I see a lot of startups paying attention in specifically regions here in the country. So I have here at the ecosystem of Distrito, startups called Trocados, and they pay attention only in the Nordest of the country. That they have a different reality from the South one, for example.
Oh yeah, because Northeast are the big cities, right? Rio and São Paulo. Yeah.
Yes. So we see smart cities in the south of the country. In the north, not so much. So we have a lot of scenarios that they are really hot right now for a lot of entrepreneurs.
Yeah. And what about cryptocurrencies? Because I've heard recently that new legislation was introduced in Brazil about cryptocurrencies.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, you're correct.
Yeah. So I was wondering if there's trust among the public.
The trust is being constructing.
Okay.
It's being building. And every day surge new opportunities and new startups, but I see a really difficult big give back from the market right now, you know? It's not, for example, I don't think is the one that is really hot right now, because of this, because it's a really new thing here in the country.
Yeah.
So not so much trust.
Okay. That will be all from me. I can see that there aren't any more questions in the chat. So thank you very much, Victor.
Thank you for the
invitation. Thank you very much. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your answers. Thank you, Ms. Magda. And now I would like to invite our next speaker. It's Mr. Oliver Cunningham. It's partner and head of innovation and digital transformation at KPMG Brazil. So I would like to invite him to our virtual stage. I hope he is with us and he has a good connection with internet. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, very, very loud and very well. Okay, so the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. It's a true privilege to be with you today. Let me just change my position, my camera, otherwise it looks like I'm looking at somewhere else. Yeah, on the back of what's been said all morning, it's very exciting. I think Brazil and Poland share more than meets the eye. Immediately, you know, the growth that Poland has been experiencing more recently, again, of course, before the pandemic, and the fact that you haven't basically been through a recession since the 1990s is frankly quite impressive. And it's not the truth here, but we also have the growth potential, and we have a large economy. I think there is, which means that this sets the stage for events like this, which I think are key. So what I'll try to do today, and what I wanted to share with everyone, is there are two stories regarding the Brazilian fintech space, which I think are very applicable to Poland, and I think would inform the entrepreneurs and everyone involved in the financial sector. So one is around context, and the other one is around structure. And I'll explain a little bit more. So from the context side, building on what Victor was saying, Brazil has always been a highly technological space within finance since the inflation days. So since the late 80s, we have invested massively in technology in Brazil. The banks used to be the largest and still have very significant development departments into the thousands of devs. So finance has always taken ownership of their own technology, which is not the same for other industries. Most other industries basically treated technology that was something that they bought and installed, and they'd always have people involved. Banks have taken control of that in a much intense way. And what that does is that explains why, by far, the fintech ecosystem today is the fastest growing and the largest. I would urge you to follow Victor's invitation, and please go down to the Distrito website, and the Distrito reports are extremely well written, very well structured, and they have a lot of the data around what I'm telling you now. So it would be pointless to put that on a slide because it's just so much. But what we can say is that we have a very, very well structured and developed fintech and ecosystem. And that's now, that was the case before last year, but now that's been turbocharged. Why? Because the open banking legislation is taking full force, and you must not underestimate the power of something like that. What we are seeing, and I'll dive a little bit more into that, but what that's going to do is that basically going to explode fintech into almost every other sector. We are already seeing fintech retail, fintech agro. Basically every non-financial organization is now thinking that they can join that play. This fundamentally changes the anatomy of what was before a very large yet very centralized industry. What I mean by this, it's not necessarily the case. I think some people underestimate the regulatory challenges, but technologically speaking, that scene is set. And we are involved in many projects in that sense, where non-financial players are moving to create financial strategies. And this is a very, very strong wind of change for the fintech companies, because they will have to either develop, acquire, or partner with financial technological capabilities. And in our view, again, we're very linked to the Distrito play, and we see the world through open innovation lenses. And what that means is that it would make no sense, or very little sense, to develop most of that. The really intelligent play is to look for the partners that best fit that strategy and then API that. So we very much think that this is linked to the API reality of the world. We think the world is going to be a huge sea of APIs driving digital connectivity into value systems. But I'll talk more about that in a minute. So the open banking, and that's already changing. We are already talking about open finance, which means that insurance is joining that play. So it's really going to open up what's happening. On top of that, we have the central bank adopting a very intelligent posture in Brazil. The central bank is a very savvy player in the sense that they have allowed innovation to happen at its almost natural speed, and almost because it's very difficult for regulation to follow tech, as we've been talking about. But they have been as close to that as possible with the sandboxes and other regulation. But they also drove something called PIX. So we already had quasi-instant payments in Brazil for almost 20 years. Our payment network has been very well developed for many years, but now it's quasi-blockchain driven. PIX allows every Brazilian to have a digital wallet and to instant transfer cash almost automatically. And we've had again, you have to understand a little bit of the bankerization context in Brazil. In the 1990s, we had around 56% of the population bankerized. We are now up to 70–80% for many reasons, and some of them are connected to the pandemic. But the fact is that out of the 200 million Brazilians plus, we have more cell phones, and now everyone has the ability to exchange digital or quasi-digital cash. This is not a CBDC yet, a central bank digital currency, but it has laid a lot of that groundwork, which means that we are very digitally, financially friendly in many, many ways. And this is relevant to the Polish guests on two levels. One, please come and look at what your tech and what your models can build into that. And I think it's highly competitive. I won't pretend that this is a blue ocean. It is certainly not. But there is room for well-designed, well-coded, well-built tech solutions in this market. Secondly, this is very much something that you could see happen in Poland if it's not already happening. And here, I did a little bit of study in the Polish economy, but I don't know enough to really say that you're on this track. But given what happened in the UK in terms of the open banking, I think this is something we can expect globally. I think banking will open. It makes sense to be that way. When that happens, it does change things materially. So this is the context side of things. This paints the picture of why, we have fintech as by far the champion of startup ecosystems in Brazil, by far the champion of venture capital in Brazil, and basically every single major, even minor, Brazilian financial institution in one way or another has accelerated some form of connectivity to the ecosystem, because the ecosystem in itself is also very well developed. So a very, very high sophistication environment and high growth. Having said that, I think it's important to bring the conversation to a second point, where we have to understand that the competitive global models of businesses are changing. And the speed of that change is very, very intense. I don't have to tell this audience this, because you're part of that. You are driving that in many, many ways. But again, back onto what the play that Victor was saying, we look at open innovation strategies, because I think there is a simplistic way of looking at this, and then there is something which is probably more likely to be close to what's effectively happening. When you talk about change in large corporates, and be this the incumbents or the large insurgents, you have to understand that a simple one-to-one connectivity with startups, while valuable, it does not constitute the major shift in digital transformation for these organizations. When you take a corporation and you look under the hood and you look at the chassis, the complexity of business changes is much broader and much deeper than one startup alone can solve, which means that the projects involved typically engage many, acquiring and connecting to many different players. And the complexity level is growing massively, because the consumer is changing his behavior at speed and becoming much more engaged in decisions which are happening at very, very high speeds. What these two things do is that they create a change in the fundamental business model, which in our view, and largely to the extent that the world is still configured, is the value networks, that the value chains that we are used to knowing. So supply networks with production and change, manufacturing and service producing elements in the middle, and a distribution point in the front, but very linear. This model is dying very, very quickly, and what's arising at the same speed are value networks, essentially driven by API connectivity, digital models which are able to integrate and disintegrate if necessary very, very quickly. The key here, and this is really the core of the discussion, is who controls the value network, who controls the value equation. Because at this point, we have to look at the 10 largest, most valuable companies in the world. If you look at those, basically, we're talking about Google, Microsoft, Apple, Tencent, a few Chinese. There are almost no classical incumbents in that list anymore. And it would be simplistic to look at this list in a, well, they're tech companies. They're not tech companies, they are value networks. And what happens is that those particular companies control the value equation with hundreds, thousands of smaller economic agents connected to them and driving cash flow through them. So this is very key. The rise of the value networks, and then each one of us has to decide how we fit into a value network. And there will be tension in that exchange. It'll either be someone driving the value or someone just plugging in and contributing to the value. If you're able to see that early enough as these value networks are formed, and we are at a very, very early stage of this forming globally, then you can better navigate your positioning. Value networks are not a new concept. They've been there for a while, but the API economy will contribute to this. So this opens up the need to have a conversation around a few different things. One of them is, what are the open innovation strategies behind these value networks? And we've seen a lot of confusion in this space, because as people that still have the classic model in their mind move to try and understand the value networks, they replicate the same structure. And really that doesn't help a lot, because value networks have a different anatomy. You have to understand what you take out of an ecosystem, but you also have to have very clearly what you give into it and how you play. And then this is where acceleration, digital hubs, ecosystems begin to people who don't understand individually these specific players can generate a certain confusion in their minds. So we've been working very actively with a lot of people designing strategies. I have a question. I'll answer you in a quick second, just as I finish my thought. So the real question here is, are you ready? Because what that means is that you have to have a very, very clear way how you scale within these value networks. That's what the conversation is really about. But that also means is how ready you are to integrate. So how API friendly you are, and that doesn't only mean the tech, but it also means that you understand how the value exchange happens to your benefit. Do you have the competencies around that? And here I bring attention to something that always came to my attention when you look at the Israeli ecosystem. The Israeli economy is so small that every startup in Israel really thinks globally. They don't even look at the local market as a target. They have the technological and the creative punch, and they're getting the capital to fall behind that as well. But then all they do is think about how can we drive this globally. And that's a different mindset. We don't see that in Brazil, because countries that have large internal economies, which is again the case of Brazil and Poland, we also begin to look at the internal market, and that's fine. But you may miss an opportunity because again, yes, regulation is a key, and there are all sorts of tax issues as well. But at the end of the day, digital frontiers don't really exist unless you artificially create them, which means that connectivity drives that play. So wrapping up very, very quickly, think about the environment. Look at these massive winds of change like we have had in Brazil, in the Brazilian economy. That's driven the fundamental massive growth in the fintech space. Think about value networks rather than merely one-to-one connections, and build a stronger, more sophisticated scalability conversation around a thought process around that, and then build your competencies around how to create and to participate in these value networks, not only technologically, but making sure that you have the economical news to really play in that space. So yeah, there's a question online here which I'll just answer before I effectively open Q&A, because I can see it. Brazilians in Brazil, the fintech space is by far the largest, It's followed closely by retail and health tech. Those have grown very, very well. There are a few emerging ones that we like to look at. I think insurance is reaching an interesting point. Agro, which is about 25% of Brazilian GDP, has potential, but there are complications structurally in that industry. What culture are we talking about? Is it soy? Is it corn? Is it coffee? Sugar? And then you also have global prices. But so it's very interesting. Again, I'll invite you to the Distrito website. You will find free reports showing you very, very clearly not only which corporations and which sectors are most active, but also regionally, what are the important areas to understand. Brazil is a very, very large country, very different from the south. The southeast is very, very different from the northeast, and different aspects there. I apologize if I packed too much information in here, but maybe we can open up the conversation for questions and answers, and I'll be glad to expand from there.
Thank you very much once again. And I would like to ask Ms. Magdalena Stefanovic to join us once again to conduct our Q&A session.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Oliver, for your presentation. It was indeed a very interesting one. And thank you for answering the question from the chat. I also wanted to ask you, how is the fintech environment in Brazil in terms of regulations? Would you consider it business friendly comparing to maybe other countries?
It is highly complex. I can give you a stat here, and this is a proxy. It's by no means technical, but our deep experience in fintech says oversight costs in Brazil, which means all the regulatory expenses associated to that, is around 20% overall budget, which means that they are significant. Mm-hmm. The Brazilian regulator is very sophisticated. We have been since the inflation days, and then it changed. We have an industry that basically transitioned from being one that was driven around inflation-driven yields, that ended instantly when the real came along, which means that we became a service-driven economy, and now we are a credit-driven economy and ecosystem. What that means is that the regulator became very, very good at monitoring and controlling each one of those elements. We navigated the 2008 very much like our colleague showed, that the Polish regulators helped Poland navigate as well. We didn't really feel that. Brazilian banks are very liquid, but that did come at a cost of very, very high concentration. So if you looked at the Brazilian economy 5 to 6 years ago, you will see that 95% of credit is concentrated in the hands of 2 or 3 institutions, 4 or 5 really. But then we have to consider that we have 2 very large federal banks, which are a little different from the private ones. But I think what's the good news is that our regulator has early enough seen that while that was necessary for a while to keep the quality of the Brazilian economy, it was time to look at different structural changes, and that's where they drove a lot of the open banking legislation, the PIX, instant payment regulation, and they are continuing to drive that. So I would say that we have very active, which means that there are costs involved, but they have also been pushing this in the right direction. So it's a sophisticated environment. It's not a playing field where there's a lot yet to be dissolved. I think the regulator is talking about everything that's being talked about. They are not out of the conversations of what's happening in innovation. So I think that's the scenario. But I do think that it, at the end of the day, constitutes a positive space for innovation.
Okay. And could you talk a little bit about the collaboration that KPMG Brazil has with Distrito? I'm referring to the LEAP program.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's great. This is not a plug. I thank you, Magdalena, but it's not a plug. It's not a shameless plug. I think it's relevant to bring this to attention because LEAP is the materialization of our understanding of the things I spoke about during my conversation with you. We realize that our fundamental business model is changing. You can look at KPMG or any professional services firm as a factory of man hours, which would be a classical way to see it, which scales badly, only makes money between 9 to 5, which works exclusively on proprietary value. Those three things do not really transition well to the digital space. Winning models scale very easily. They make money 365 days, 24 hours a day during 7 days a week. And they basically distribute knowledge really, really well. So what LEAP came about when we realized that effectively we needed to transition into having more of that. That really led to one key learning, which was it looked like we were in a man-hours factory, but at the end of the day, KPMG and most organizations, to be honest, are knowledge organizations. And knowledge digitizes really well. It's not easy to do, but it does digitize really, really well in terms of data and code. So that was one big part of the equation. But when we looked at it, we said, we really made a bet on open innovation. We have a fundamental creed belief that nobody has the time or the money to make the transformation on their own. And if this is true, you have to then think open innovation. How can I plug into value exchanges, exactly how I was talking about? And this is when we said, we can, while we have a big part of the DNA of being a modern digital services organization, we needed an ecosystem play. We needed to truly inhabit an ecosystem. And when we looked around, Distrito by far had the better view of how to do this. We saw smaller hubs, which were physical, and physical hubs can get 200, 250, 300 startups into a space. Distrito always thought digitally. Yes, we have a phygital representation around that. We have 5 innovation hubs in Brazil today, but at the end of the day, they always tracked the intelligence around the ecosystem. All 12,800 startups were in the database. They knew them. We had filters and algorithms to understand who was growing, why they were growing, where the capital was flowing. And once we joined these things together, a very powerful connection arose where I can now sit down with anyone in Brazil and not tell them what I think is happening, but using the data miner, I can tell them what we can see is happening, what we know is happening, and we can start beginning to capture very important signals that the market is saying to where we should play. So that's really what LEAP is. It's the marriage at the DNA level between the depth of a very large corporation that is able to talk to other corporations about high complexity. And this is where the difference happens, because when it's simple connectivity, that's relatively easy. But the large transformation projects really need people who can have those conversations, and how you change the business model of a very large organization. That's a massive change. And on the other hand, someone who can really plug into the ecosystem and very quickly help us do 2 things. One, understand the art of the possible, so inform us of how we could create and come up with new things. And 2, what tools, almost treat the ecosystem as a Lego that we can plug in different things very, very quickly and have within 6 months massive projects going live online.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much for your insightful remarks. That would be all from me.
Thank you very much. It's a privilege to be with you today. Again, wish you all the best. I think this is a very important event, and I'm very proud and honored to be here with you today.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And now I would like to invite on our scene Mr. Schaefer, Partner and Head of Sales, New Business and Partnership at A55. I hope he has a good connection. Hello. Hello.
Can you hear me well?
Yes, very well and very loud. Do you have a connection with the presentation?
Yes, I'm looking here for the presentation. I thought it would be here, A55.
Okay,
Here.
so the stage is yours.
Thank you very much for the invitation to be one of the speakers here. Hi, my name is Schaefer. I'm a partner, head of sales, partnerships, and new business at A55. We are fintech focused on credit. We operate using the revenue-based finance model here in Brazil and Mexico. Our goal, our mission is to invest in growth of new economy, focused especially on SaaS and e-commerce companies here in Brazil and Mexico. We name ourselves as growth specialists. We are the first Brazilian fintech focused on credit lines for the new economy companies. We are building the best credit alternatives for SaaS and e-commerce companies, helping entrepreneurs to grow through their journeys. We are based in São Paulo, which is our headquarters here in Brazil. We have a business office in Florianopolis, Manaus, and Mexico City, in Mexico. So we are already operating in Latin America. Here are some of the cases from companies we financed at A55. We have already financed around 170 companies already in the last 3-4 years. And we have a credit portfolio of almost 170 million reais, which is something around 35 million reais. Our main differential here is that a few banks and few financial agents here in Brazil understand how recurring revenue works and how tech companies can access credit here in Brazil. So usually the credit collateral here in Brazil are usually like real estate, equipment, machines, industry machines, etc. And tech companies doesn't have that. All they have is their contracts of sales, the revenue, and some intangible assets such as intellectual property, etc. So they are asset-like companies, and they have a little bit more difficulty to access credit and money here in Brazil. So that's why we exist here in Brazil, to use the revenue as the main collateral for credit operations. We have also a platform focused on helping companies to use to improve their growth. So we transform basic information such as financial statements or bank statements in insights for growth. So we help the companies understand how their revenue are behaving, their credit, their client portfolio, how the clients are behaving in their journey with the company. So we have around 11,500 companies using our platform, and over 1,000 companies using actively. So this is a company called Hazer Computers. Is a statement they gave us, or how was their experience here with A55. We are nowadays repositioning ourselves as a technology based in financing for technology companies. So our main targets for financing is SaaS companies such as CRMs, ERPs, platform as a service, hardware as a service, plus software, and e-commerce. Especially because of the pandemic here in Brazil, we had a massive growth in the e-commerce sector. So we are investing heavily to finance this sector, and we understand that e-commerce has a few particularities, such as they need money to finance their working capital, to buy more goods to sell, and to finance some marketing campaigns and etc. So we do pretty much all of that, helping them to grow. And SaaS companies here in Brazil they have a big focus by the venture capital investors and angel investors because they have a predictable revenue, which is really good for investors. And we try to help them grow using an alternative source of funding for them to not have to sell directly on the companies, and in maybe putting for maybe given the opportunity for a new round of funding with VC investors for maybe a year later or something like that, for a better valuation and better conditions of funding. We understand that many companies have financial needs to support their growth journey, such as capital for growth, working capital, investment in digital marketing, hiring qualified people, structure expansion, acquisition of other companies, new goods for sale, and we pretty much finance all that. The traditional credit model in Brazil did not keep up with the changes brought by the new economy. So they asked real collateral, such as real estate, some equipment, etc. The financial agents, the traditional financial agency in Brazil, does not understand this new business model. For example, pretty much all the investors here in Brazil, they buy a stake in a company using a convertible note. So for the banks or financial agents, the traditional financial agents, they understand that the company has a debt instead of an equity sale. So they are pretty much denied by the capital structure they have by having a VC investor and angel investors. The traditional market has a delay in document analysis, they take too long, they have no flexibility in the services, and usually the companies end up having to go to find money through a VC investor or angel investor selling a part of their company, a part of the dream. So we do a little bit different, using the main asset of the company that is, in our opinion, our view, the revenue of the company and the recurring revenue and the predictable revenue of the company. We like to say that traditional credit only delivers money. At A55, we deliver growth. So we have a lot of companies here that grew like triple digits using our money. So for example, we have here lines from 50,000 reais with interest rates running from 1% to 3.5% per month, up to 24 to 30 months. We have, this part of the presentation is in Portuguese. So our goal here is to be more accessible, faster, and fair. So we help you entrepreneur to grow your biggest asset, which is your revenues. We help you grow. We use technology to understand your company deeply and offer better conditions of financing for you. We have an analysis in around 24 to 48 hours. So as long as you put on your data here with us, you create your account, your login here, we will deliver you indicative proposal for credit in around 24 hours. We help you and we follow your growth through insights of KPIs and etc. And we also have a credit model that focus on as long as the company grows, we can give more credit and give more money for the companies to reinvest and grow their business. And we are here specialized in companies of the new economy. New company for us is the digital business model we have here in the economy, such as e-commerce, SaaS, and the digital world of the companies. How it works. We are ideal for companies with predictable income, predictable revenue, who seek lines of credit to grow under conditions different from those found in the traditional market. So the first step for a company is to register in our platform, the F55 platform, and connect your bank accounts to analyze your monthly income. This will be way easier for the financial sector as a whole. Once the open banking technology starts running, the legislation starts running. You can check the rates and values we have to offer for your company in at least 24 to 48 hours. You can fill in additional information about your company, partners, and representatives, and send the necessary documentation to apply for a credit line. You can sign our agreement to formalize the operation and receive the money in your account in 3 to 5 days, and follow the payment of the transaction through our platform. So you will receive I forgot the word in English, sorry. You receive the payment installments inside the platform for you to pay the debt with us. So we pretty much are here to finance the growth of the companies of the new economy, such as SaaS companies and e-commerce companies here in Brazil and Mexico. And that's pretty much it for A55. I'm sorry for the bad English, but it's been a while since I don't talk in English, so I'm sorry if you guys could understand me.
Thank you very much. And now it's time for our Q&A session. So I would like to invite Ms. Magdalena Stefanovic from Embassy of Brazil in Warsaw to join us.
Can you hear me?
Yes, but we can't see you.
I wanted to turn on my camera, but I can't do it now. I don't know what happened.
Okay.
But we can continue like that. I think it's fine. Okay, so thank you, Renan, for your presentation. I'd like to ask you, from a practical point of view, whether, apart from the credit itself, the services that A55 offers to companies, well, they obviously help them grow, but are there tools that help the companies identify what they should improve on? Do you have things like that?
It is on our roadmap to create these tools for the companies. Now, today, we already have like an insight generation through bank statements. So, for example, we can help you understand how your revenue behaves, on how your clients behave through their life journey with the company. We can help you understand how where geographically you are gaining market, you're gaining clients, where you're losing. So the main idea here is to give you some kind of insights for you to help your business to grow. And we are developing, for example, for a cash flow, a past cash flow for the last, 6 to 12 months, and predicting a cash flow for the next 6 to 12 months as well, and helping you identify where you might have a mismatch of income versus a mismatch of revenue and expenses, and maybe offer a credit line to help with that. So we are developing pretty much all this intelligence to help companies grow in the next couple of months. We already have around 100 people here at 55, and I think almost half of the people we have here are data scientists in technology and development.
Okay. And I was also interested in your decision to expand to Mexico. Why the choice? Is it because it's a big Latin American market? Was that the main reason, or any other
the Mexico market has a lot of similarities here with Brazil. So they have a little bit less regulation, so we can do business a little bit better there. The startup ecosystem in Mexico is growing really fast. So we decided that having an operation in Mexico was almost a no-brainer. We were invested by former Santander Innoventures, nowadays Moro Capital, mainly because of our Latin American play here. So due to the similarities in the facility, to the easiness to do business, we decided to open a business unit in Mexico. And I think we have that business unit in Mexico from early 2019 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's growing really, really fast as well.
Yeah. And do you see yourself expanding to other markets in the near future, or you're just focusing on those two for now?
It is on our roadmap. We are probably going to expand to another Latin American countries, such as, I don't know, Colombia, Chile, Argentina, some other countries like that. Hopefully, we can find a partner in Europe to help us do business in Europe. But I think our business model, our credit model is very known in Europe and United States. So it would be really nice for us to have a partner in Europe or United States or North America to do business with.
Okay, that would be all from me. Thank you very much for your presentation and for your answers.
It was my pleasure.
Thank you very much for being with us today. Okay, and from now, I would like to invite our next two speakers, Mr. Alonso Neto, Director of Purpose and People at Social Bank, and Mr. Fernando Machado, Director of Finance at Social Bank. So I would like to invite them on our virtual stage. Hello, are you with us?
Hello. Hi.
Hello. Hello. Do you have a... Yes, Mr. Fernando, okay. Hello. Hello, can you see? Okay, so we can hear you. Okay, so gentlemen, the stage is yours.
Okay, so thank you very much for the opportunity of being here. I'm Alonso. I'm Director for Purpose and People in Social Bank, and Fernando is here too. Fernando?
Hello, thanks for the opportunity. I'm Fernando, and I'm in charge of finance and risk at Social Bank.
Okay, so Social Bank is a digital bank that proposes a new way dealing with money, fairer, simpler, and more human. So we disintermediate financial relationships and connecting people in collaborative financial ecosystem. Disintermediating relation and connecting people in collaborative financial ecosystems. We are the first B Corp in Brazilian banking sector. So the B Corp certifications is the highest standards of social and environmental impact in the world, and this reflects our commitment with the ESG agenda and the global goals, the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. So this is about our unique and different approach in Brazilian market. We are recognized as one of the most important impacting startups in Latin America. So what we do is use our business strength to build a more inclusive and resilient economy, working towards sustainable development goals, as I said. And we are an important agent of financial, social, and digital inclusion. We provide more than 50,000 digital accounts between groups with difficulty accessing financial system. So we can see here some cases as rural workers, construction workers, refugees, recyclers, and youths in their first job. So we have a partnership with United Nations helping to include refugees in our country, especially Venezuelan, because as we know, Venezuela is facing a huge crisis and this is a case of how can we include people in financial system here in Brazil. This is an important case from us, and it's a what is financial, social, and digital inclusion is about. Here in Brazil, we have 45 million of people unbanked. So 1 in 3 adults don't have a bank account. So we can see that there is lots of opportunities here in Brazilian market. And this is what social bank is about. It's about balance, purpose, and profit, purpose and results, and social impact. So Fernando will talk about our differentials. Fernando?
Yeah, thank you, Alonso. It's important to mention that coming on the side of our social impact strategy, we have a clear market strategy, that the way we differentiate ourselves will become clear in this slide. And it's important to mention how this bank arena in Brazil is set, and how important in this digital the digital aspects of or how we differentiate ourselves from our digital competitors. Social bank has a digital DNA. We were born this way. We have this full customer focus, and we have proprietary technology. It's very, very important to have these 3 pieces combined. We're not a retrofit of an old way of doing banking. We were born digital, and we were born with all this social inclusion. It's in our DNA, and on top of that, we have a full bank license, and this whole thing meshed, combined together, really puts social bank like one of the few digital banks in Brazil that really can provide a full portfolio of products. So we have our target, we have our approach, we have our social impact really established, and we have this full banking service really strong. Brazil is known for having a huge banking activity concentration. 5 banks are responsible for almost 9% of economic activity. So Brazil has a demand for financial inclusion, as Alonso said. We have almost 45 million bank people. So we have a really huge opportunity here. And this is why Brazil has more than 600 fintechs. But the fintechs that we have now, they are single product, single distribution channel. They don't have banking license. They are all attached to Itaú, Bradesco, Banco do Brasil. They are attached to the old way of doing bank. So social banking in this way is really different from the market. We also have, on next slide, a corporate strategy. I'm going to explain that to you. So instead of approaching and reaching directly the customer in the end, we approach the corporate section. We have a full set of products that can attend either customers or either the corporate segment. And by approaching the corporate segment, we also differentiate ourselves, because you don't see many of the digital competitors approaching directly the corporate segment. By approaching them, we can have the banking from the corporate sector and their partners and their employees and the whole structure that goes along with the corporate. And this is why we chose to go through a B2B2C strategy. This draw that we have here really explains how we do this thing. So by doing that, we capture the money where it's born. Let's put it like this. So the payroll, the acquire side, it all comes and has its origin on the corporate segment. So then the customers can use our financial service by transferring their money by paying their bills, by requiring loans, etc. And by having a full set of products, we have a market approach that really can fit the needs of huge corporations through smaller corporations. We go through every company size. We already achieved on 2020 640 million reais of cash-ins, and our company generated 20 million reais, 23 million reais in recurring revenues, and we expect a really accelerated growth from 2021 to 2023. And to accomplish that, we have a strategy regarding our commercial structure really strong. Alonso, you can go to another slide. We have on our market, Social Bank has a nationwide activity. We go from north to south, and to really achieve our goals, we had to differentiate our strategy in terms of the commercial structure. So we have this we use this methodology called pod sales, where we distinguish singularities from regions, from types of customers, from customer needs, and focus our teams on reaching our targets. We also have a strategy that goes with you can contract our services by yourself. So it's really easy to come along and use Social Bank service, either for your company, either for you as a personal account. And this is what is called pod sales target. And as I said before, as we have a really monopolized market, and to survive in such a competitive arena, we had to build our financial ecosystem. That means by having a whole variety of products that goes from the corporate section through the customer sector, we have this whole thing combined, creating an ecosystem, so the money and the solutions flow through our system. So what we try to do is once the money is flowing through our system, they do not go through to other banks, as we have the whole solution here. So it starts with the companies, and the cash-ins goes to the customers. The customers uses our products, and by having that, we create a financial ecosystem, and it helps our financial health. Let's put it like this. But it also increases the customer experience as we have the whole set of products, the whole set of needs fit by one single digital platform. As I said, we have a nationwide activity. We have more than 5,000 companies using our products. We have more than 1.5 million digital accounts using our products. We have more than 100 payrolls using our products, and we have, so by saying that, nationwide approach. But to increase our growth, we build a strategy called social cities, and this is we have targeted some cities depending on economy factors, populational factors. Put all that together and establish 120 cities that we're gonna focus on by having physical points of contacts with our customer, either corporate or either personal accounts. And by this map, you can see these clusters where they're gonna be, and we have a way to go from 21 to 22 by establishing this point of contact, and this program is called here Social Cities. So what I tried to say in these few minutes we had is that social bank is different from the others because we have a full range of products. We have truly digital DNA. We truly think about people, and we really think about how we can innovate on this banking services by putting unbanked people into the game, by providing financial inclusion and services to them, to smaller companies, to bigger companies. We have a full set of products. And when we see social bank in layers, we can see that we have acquire, we have financial products, we have the whole set of services that a company needs. And by adding a banking license on that, we can perform credit on our bank. So everything a corporate or a person needs, they will find here in social bank. This is why we see ourselves as a one-stop shop. Everything that you need, you're gonna find here. You don't need to have 5, 6, 7 digital or regular accounts to have your financial needs matched or provided. You can have it all here in social banking. This is why we think we are different on this arena.
Great, Fernando. So we are talking about this innovative model and unique approach in Brazilian market. As Fernando said, a complete solution with low fixed cost in one click. So we know how Brazil are facing difficulty in economy, in politics. So as I said, 45 million of unbanked. This is a huge market, but the fact is people have difficulty to access traditional banks and the traditional system. So we are offer here a different experience for people looking for their needs and helping the companies to pay their payrolls, to leverage their partnerships, building this ecosystem with a full set portfolio of financial products and financial services. So this is what social bank is about. As we said, balancing purpose and profit and results. We are running now a license for a full bank. So in next month, we expect to be offering credit, insurance, and new products, and offer new opportunities to help people in their financial experience here in Brazil.
Yes, important to mention, Alonso, sorry, to really highlight our numbers. Once again, we have 6,000 corporate on our basis. We have 1.5 million digital accounts running our products. We in 2020 achieved 640 million reais in terms of cash-in and 23 million reais in terms of revenue. We expect to go to 60 million reais in 2021, and we are now 200 social bankers. We are 200 employees running this company. So we have great achievements in something like three years of being operational. Thank you very much for your time.
Perfect. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you for your presentation. And now it's time to our Q&A session. So stay with us. Okay, I would like to invite Ms. Magdalena Stefanovic from Embassy of Brazil in Warsaw to join us.
Hello again. Can you hear me?
Yes,
everything's fine now.
well.
Thank you. Okay, so thank you once again for the presentation. It was really nice to hear from you. We have questions from the audience. Here's someone asking about the technology backend of the social bank. If you could maybe elaborate a little bit on that.
Yeah, I can. So I can say some words because I'm not from technology. I am for purpose and people like human resources. But our differential is to be to have the proprietary technologies here. And so all of our platforms and technologies are proprietary. So we develop here in house. Correct, Fernando?
Yes. We own our authorization system, our processing system. We have partnerships with Amazon, so everything here is like in cloud. We have from these 200 people I said that's running the business, we have like 80, 85, 90 people coming from the technology side. So in terms of banking systems, authorization system, processing system in terms of digital accounts, we are on the high standards of it, developing our own technology. We also have some systems. How can I say that? We have Salesforce running our customer relationship systems. We have TOTUS on our financial side. So either we are proprietary of the technology or we have partnership with the great ones from the market.
Yeah, and the case is as we have this proprietary technology, we have autonomy to offer the different experiences. I can say the peer-to-peer lending. We were pioneer here in Brazil in 2017. We launched a peer-to-peer lending platform. It was the first in Brazilian market. So our competitors, the other digital banks or fintechs, depending on technology from others or a relation with big banks, which they cannot do different things, and this proprietary technology is our differential.
Yeah, by having proprietary technology, we can customize products in a really faster way than our competitors, and by being proprietary, we have how can I say we don't have legacy from other systems. We don't carry a heavy luggage from our past. We were born digital and we built our systems. So sides of being fast in terms of how we can customize a product and really hear customer needs and provide the service that really he's requiring, not a standard product. It really makes social bank light in terms of people, of how many people are working here in terms of technology. As we compare ourselves to some of the real competitors in this digital arena, we see that they have like 1,000 people working on their IT, and we have less than 100. And we attend 6,000 corporations. We attend 1.5 million digital accounts. We have more than 100,000 people recurrently using our our services, we are able to generate revenue, and we do not forget our social impact, how can I say, value. So we were able to put that all together, combine the banking of it with the social impact of it.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you for the answer. I'm really interested in the social aspect of social bank, so I'd like to ask about the social development goals and values that you mentioned. Are there any specific SDGs that you focus on?
Yes, we focus especially in social and governance. Environmental is important too, but as a financial platform, we are really looking for the inclusion, not about just financial inclusion or financial access, but social and digital inclusion. As we are a digital bank, we have to look for the digital inclusion and digital alphabetization, because our country is a poor country. A lot of people live in countryside, so it's important not to just offer a financial platform or access, but helping the population to use and a quality use of financial services and financial products. So for social bank, the social inclusion is a core value of our DNA and of our strategy and ESG strategy.
And how do you reach those groups, those social groups that have difficulty accessing the financial system? How is it done? Is it through companies, or do you have any other proactive efforts?
Fernando?
If you allow me, Alonso. I think there's one example, and if I have one more minute, I can explain that to you with one example. We are leaders in sugarcane rural workers inclusion, and how we do that. This is where the banks don't want to go. It's too far, and the income is low. It's low, so they're not fully interested on providing services to them. So these rural workers used to receive their incomes in checks that they discount on the other side of of their factories with 15% discount. So if they get on their Friday, they receive like 1,000 reais. On the other side of the street, they discount the check and receive 850. So we reach how we call usinas. I'm sorry.
Like sugarcane plants or plants for
sugarcane plants. Our commercial team approached the sugarcane plants. Sorry. Approach the sugarcane.
Like power plants or sugarcane plants.
Okay, sugarcane plants, and we offer our payroll product. So they accept that, and instantly they don't need to discount their checks with this person on the other side of the street. So they receive a card, they have their apps working, and they can use it. They pay per use, and so we don't have a fee, a recurring fee. No, it's only pay per use, and instead of getting 10-15% extracted from your income, use our platforms for like 5 reais a month. And only by doing that, we're at once including these people, generating on them financial knowledge, and providing services and getting them a better life. So this is somehow we change people's lives in terms of this social impact you mentioned.
Yeah. All right, that would be all from me. Thank you very much for the presentation and for your answers.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So
thank you.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, that was our last presentation. Right now, I would like to once again invite on our scene Mr. Francisco Nelson Linares Jr. from Embassy of Brazil in Warsaw. Hello, are you with us? Hello, can we have a connection? Oh, I think we've got some problems. Okay, once again, we will try. Maybe this time we will work. Hello? Okay. Okay, so we've got a few problems, so please be patient. It happens from time to time when we've got an online event. I hope everything will be fine. Mr. Ademar Seabra de Cruz Jr., Minister Counselor at the Embassy of Brazil. I would like to invite you to our stage. Hello, can you switch on your camera and microphone? Okay, I can see you, but I can't hear you. You have your microphone muted, so.
Everything's on right now. Thank you.
Okay. Now we can hear you.
What about my colleague, Nelson? He was, in fact, it would do a great justice if Nelson could close this session, because I knew I have followed the tremendous amount of work that he did together with you and other colleagues from Startup Poland and Magda and the others from the trade sector of the Embassy of Brazil. The point is that I have arrived recently in Poland, and I can say how joyful and how grateful and how satisfied I am, and I'm very impressed with the quality of the innovation system of Poland, of the startup ecosystem, and all of the opportunities that can be tapped by Brazilian firms here. And the same thing, how Poland businesses and the Poland startups and investors, they can tap into the possibilities that Brazil's market has to offer. We are countries in which we have very similar ambitions, and we have very good conditions to expand and to strengthen the interchange that have begun today. It was an extraordinary exchange of ideas, and I must say that even as a Brazilian, I learned a lot about my own country, about the initiatives that have been taken in terms of bringing IT, artificial intelligence algorithms to the financial sector and to the financing of knowledge-intensive activities. So what I could say is basically, after this very fruitful interchange, is that we could pose an invitation for initiatives such as this to go forward. I think that Polish business could tap into the possibilities and into the interests they might have risen into the Brazilian landscape. And at the same time, our Brazilian participants from the social bank A55, Cubo, and all the ones who have been involved here, I think that it's time to understand better and deeply all these possibilities that Poland have to offer. So the Brazilian embassy, our Ambassador Brasili, can be of great help in intermediating these contact interests, but not only intermediating. I think we'll have to take some action in terms of keep on promoting this dialogue. I think hopefully this is not the Brazil-Poland Fintech seminar or dialogue that has been put forward today, but I think that it must be a kind of ongoing dialogue, and we will study later together with you and the possibilities for that to happen. Thank you very much. I was really satisfied, really appreciated so much, and impressed by the quality of the work, the quality of the presentations, and glad that for the so much that I have learned from both parties, from Poland and Brazil. It's really a privilege, and I'm very proud to be part of this dialogue from now on. You have a great afternoon. So as Annie said, it's a wonderful sunny day here in Poland, and hopefully in Brazil as well. So this heralds the great days that we have ahead for us for our ongoing dialogues. Thanks so much for everyone involved, and my special acknowledgement to the efforts that have brought this so successful event today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. This great webinar. Thank you for namely here. Thank all the presentations, all the were Star Poland, Distrito, Fintech Poland, KPMG, A55, and Social Bank. Please contact us. We are on Facebook. See in the chat the link for our Facebook. Our email is also on the chat. And we will be with to listen to your on how to advance this agenda. As I said, this was the of a long journey. Thank you very much and have a nice day.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, that was all. Thank you for being with us and spending this lovely morning in Brazil and lovely afternoon in Poland. Have a nice rest of the day. Thank you very much. And if you want, just contact with Startup Poland Foundation and Brazilian Embassy in Warsaw. Thank you once again for being with us, and I hope see you next time.